My name is Wendy. I'm standing in the middle of a room filled with an eerie silence, the weight of the past few hours pressing down on me. My parents, Victor and Olivia, are in handcuffs, their faces a mask of shock and disbelief. Just moments ago, the tables turned, and justice finally prevailed. But it wasn't always this way. I'm a military police investigator, and I've spent years hunting down criminals and uncovering the truth. My grandfather, Judge Henry Gray, was a man of integrity and honor, a pillar of the community. But my parents saw him as nothing more than a burden, a drain on their finances. It all started when they went on a luxury vacation to the Maldives, leaving me to take care of Henry. When I arrived at the house, I found it freezing cold, the thermostat set to off. Henry was lying on the floor, barely conscious, his body trembling from the cold. As I held his hand, he opened his eyes and whispered, "Help me get revenge." I knew then that something was terribly wrong. I wrapped Henry in blankets and gave him some glucose, then I started to investigate. I pulled up the smart home logs from the basement server and discovered that the heating had been manually disabled via the admin app on the day my parents left. They had locked Henry in the unrenovated wing of the house, cutting off his access to heat and leaving him to freeze to death. I waited for my parents to return, preparing myself for the confrontation. When they finally walked through the door, they were laughing and joking, completely oblivious to the horror that awaited them. I confronted them with the evidence, but they refused to admit their guilt. They tried to blame the malfunction on the old heating system, but I wasn't buying it. In a desperate attempt to save themselves, Victor called the police, claiming that I was a dangerous and unstable veteran. The officers arrived within minutes, their guns drawn and pointed at me. I tried to explain what had happened, but they wouldn't listen. They saw a soldier sitting in the dark with a weapon on the table, and they assumed the worst. I was handcuffed and dragged out of the house, my parents' smug smiles burning into my memory. As I was being pushed into the back of the cruiser, I noticed something strange about the guardianship papers that Victor had presented to the officers. The notary stamp was dated the same day that they were on the cruise in the Maldives. It was a forgery. I pleaded with the sergeant, Officer Thompson, to check the timestamp and the IP address. I told him that if the document was fake, then Victor wasn't a guardian protecting a ward, but a suspect concealing a crime scene. At first, he didn't believe me, but as I continued to press him, I saw the doubt in his eyes. Just as he was about to make a decision, Olivia slipped out of the house and destroyed the evidence. She shattered my laptop and tore up the papers, leaving me with nothing to prove my case. The officers found Henry's expired heart medication in my jacket pocket and accused me of drugging him. I was reframed from a whistleblower to an unstable veteran, and the charges were piling up. As they led me out of the house, Victor leaned in close and whispered, "He'll be dead by morning. We'll cremate him before you make bail. You'll be institutionalized." But then, a voice thundered through the room. "Sergeant Thompson, do you still uphold your oath?" In the hallway stood Judge Henry Gray, upright and steady, draped in his old judicial robes. He pressed a button on a remote and the TV flickered on, revealing a video of Victor forging documents and Olivia laughing as they discussed their plan to turn off the heat and let nature finish the job. The room fell silent as the truth was finally revealed. Officer Thompson ordered the officers to uncuff me, and Henry stepped forward to press charges. Victor and Olivia were arrested, and justice was served. "Blood is biology," Henry said coldly. "Family is a moral contract. You broke it." As I look back on that night, I realized that I was fighting the wrong battle. I was trying to appeal to my parents' humanity, but they didn't have any. They were driven by greed and selfishness, willing to do anything to get what they wanted. But in the end, the truth always comes out, and justice always prevails.